Alright guys, we are back. So yes, you knew we had to do it. We had to jump in. So I already was going to do this, and since I've already, I guess, completed all the runs, they have announced that they're going to be removing some aspects of the STR Saibaimen's leader skill, which is a pretty big deal. In some of the kind of like, I don't know how I want to word this, easier fights, Cell Max and Bio Broly are kind of like not on the next step of power. Like, I think the Majin Vegeta and Super Saiyan 3 Goku fights are much tougher than Cell Max and Bio Broly. Like, we could just run full Saibaimen and just crush Bio Broly and Cell Max very easily. But, I mean, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Majin Vegeta, you know, especially, like, the longer the fight goes on, the more hairy things can get for some of these dodge characters, too, right? So, I mean, look at this, right? Like the Int Saibaimen legitimately took off more than half of Cell Max's HP just with one volley. So we just had a couple of dodges, which, you know, a lot of my characters, well, at least that have access to the potential system in this run, you know, do, of course, have full dodge builds. And then the R Saibaimen are able to get dodge chance from the STR Saibaimen. And then we just get here, and it's like, you know, we hit just a little bit more dodges, and we go ahead and get the W against Cell Max. Cell Max was very easy to do. Didn't really give, you know, much challenge, honestly. I mean, the inside man, look at this guy. Like, it's just, you know, he jumps out and it's just like he's a wrecking ball. He's like a garbage truck, a dump truck, just driving through these bosses. As he could do, what is it, up to 9 attacks. Most of them are crits. Most of them are supers. He does an ungodly amount of damage. So there's Cell Max. Cell Max was a joke. That boy could not, I mean, really, like, stand up to us at all. He straight up, Cell Max, that fool just got cooked. That's it. All right, so for the next one, we're going to hop into Bio Broly. I did want to get this in here because, I mean, people, every time I open up Twitter, seems like I'm usually seeing people doing this Bio Broly fight. I think it's because Bio Broly is definitely, like, a good showcase fight, in that he doesn't have, like, toxic gimmicks that'll get in your way from playing. He just kind of, like, you know, right there on a T, slot 0, you know, 20 million super attack, and then, you know, that's what he does. Without any really, like, super crazy gimmicks or any sort of, like, ridiculous nonsense, right? So with the Saibaimen, we're able to completely eradicate Bio Broly very fast, right? Just like Cell Max, you know, if we get the Int Saibaimen, like, pretty much right away, it's just going to be damn near GG. Now, I could have, like, potentially, like, waited to get, like, better roll or better rotations or something like that, but we smoke this without it. Like, look at that. Just one turn, and Bio Broly is down to 3 health bars. So, Bio Broly doesn't really present much of a challenge to the 2 STR Saibaimens and the Int Saibaimen. So, really, this team is essentially, like, 3 major characters. The STR Saibaimen, you know, our lead and the friend lead, and then the Int Saibaimen. Those are kind of like the characters that we're sort of rocking with this, right? And then everything else is just kind of like whatever. So, like, for the Bio Broly and Cell Max, I did kind of want to get, like, you know, some of the easier fights done here, just using kind of like the full Saibaimen. And it wasn't even like this took, like, a ton of tries or anything. Not at all. Right? Bio Broly doesn't really do very much, dude. The only thing Bio Broly does is sit there and gets his ass killed. Like, so see you later, Bio Broly. Good fight, good fight. Now, the next couple of fights took a couple of more tries. Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Majin Vegeta. Majin Vegeta kind of counters what the Saibaimen want to do, actually, in a couple of different ways. We'll talk about that when we get to that. But Super Saiyan 3 Goku is definitely a very tricky fight, right? I could have leaned a little bit more into some foolishness as well, by the way. You know, Fat Boo and Tech Androids and stuff. Like, we know how it goes with some of those characters. But I mostly decided to just stick to kind of like, you know, like the regular units and stuff, right? So, all right, against Super Saiyan 3 Goku, I mean, we're not looking to just sort of like jump in here and just use, you know, BS in terms of like just like the other R Saibaimen and stuff. Like, no way. So we're just coming in here with the, you know, couple of like major LRs. and we just need to set up our rotations and stuff smartly, and hope that we hit some procs once we get towards the end. Remember, Super Saiyan 3 Goku is an interesting boss, because that first turn is like nothing really crazy. He gets a massive attack buff starting from his second turn, but then there's the other thing about him, which is that as you're hitting him in, you know, either with Ki Blast or melee supers, you're giving Goku crit and dodge. And that's where Goku really begins to be an annoying little bastard. As we're hooking him up with all this crit and all this dodge, it just becomes very difficult to deal with for Super Saiyan 3 Goku, right? Like his, dude, the dodge, I've seen so many people take L's because of Super Saiyan 3 Goku's dodge, and I mean, bro, like, me too, like, I'm losing off of his crits, his dodges, especially too when he crits. If he just decides to crit a lot of times, oh, it's brutal. Now, the strategy I wanted to have here, I don't think we do it successfully on this run, but I envisioned against Super Saiyan 3 Goku, we'd have like a Saibaimen, you know, in slot 1, we'd have Int Saibaimen, and then potentially Vegeta doing his active skill in slot 3, giving the big support buff to the Saibaimen. But I think in this run, we don't actually do that. I was doing all these runs while I was playing Resident Evil with Iron Cane, kind of like doing that series. We're going to go through, like, looks like basically just the entire series. We're going through the whole Resident Evil series. It's been a good time, but I need to kind of come up with videos that I can work on while I'm, you know, doing Resident Evil with him. So like festival runs, and then this was my idea for our session last night, was to sweep the game with Int Saibaimen. Now remember, this Super Saiyan 2 Goku is a tricky boss right here, because this guy builds up damage both every turn and as we hit him. Okay, so we actually get hit right there. That's interesting. Okay. So that drops us down to... Okay. Yeah, very, very low HP. I was like, wait, what? We actually, yeah, okay. So Goku did not get KO'd by that attack. He did actually live. It's just with a very, very small amount of HP. I was like, God damn, what the hell? Bro, like for a second, I was like, wait, what? Do I have a wrong run in here? No, we're good. So, okay. I wanted to save Evolution Blue Vegeta for the very end, by the way. The reason is because I did want to maximize the damage we did to Super Saiyan 3 Goku. It is not a good idea to fuck around with Super Saiyan 3 Goku. When you get to him, you need to kill him quick. Otherwise, he is going to either make you lose because he's going to dodge your attacks, or he's going to make you lose because he's going to hit you with a crit super. So it's like a good strategy is to take a long time to get to him, but then once you get to him, try and blitz him. I was hoping Vegeta wouldn't kill. Of course, Vegeta's like, oh, you wanna like make this go another turn? Well, time for me to hit every crit super right there. Now, I do decide to, yeah. I was gonna say, we got a pretty favorable result, I would say, with the targeting of Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So I decided, you know what, if we're gonna win, I need to hang on to Evolution Blue Vegeta for another turn. In Super Saiyan 4 Goku able to full heal us. Now, the Saibaimen leader skill, by the way, the part that's getting nerfed, our characters defensively, I think, are very similar to what they would be under regular leader skills. But their damage is a bit lower, and their ki is lower as well. Ki is something I do notice on most of these characters. With the double Saibaimen leader skill, a lot of characters, we do have much less ki, right? I didn't run Daima Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, but it would actually make it very useful for Daima Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, right? Yeah, for sure. Okay, so then we get to here. Remember, the Saibaimen get stronger per Saiyan Saga ally, so Kid Gohan being here is very helpful. He'll buff the Saibaimen even more because he's Saiyan Saga. And he's a character that can dodge. Kid Gohan frustrates me to no fucking end, because he is a character that, a slot 2 or 3 character that needs to get targeted to build up. So in a lot of these runs, in some of these runs, I was making very, like, reckless plays, putting Kid Gohan, you know, in slot 1, turn 1, and shit like that, just to get him built up out of the, like, get it out of the way, leading forward in the rest of the fight. And then, you know, as long as he's dodging right there, we're chilling. So we get to this portion, we drop Evolution Blue, Vegeta's active. Yeah, we unfortunately, I didn't have it timed up perfectly with Vegeta on the same rotation as the Saibaimen, because he actually would have been able to buff them up a little bit more, which would have been nice. I didn't really worry about floating Super Saiyan 4 Goku off, because I know in Saibaiman probably should be able to finish the fight off next turn. Remember, Evolution Blue Vegeta, this is the first time we're using him, so he's invincible. I felt like this was the correct way to do this, but you saw Super Saiyan 3 Goku dodge Evolution Blue Vegeta's second fucking attack, man. This Super Saiyan 3 Goku is very scary, dude. He is very scary. Alright, so in Super Saiyan 4 Goku, not too much damage here. We don't have, like, Saiyan Roar Up, no GT, and I think we also might not have gotten very many stacks with Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. So I got to this point in the run a couple of times, and we lost because the SCR Cyberman died. But this time, finally, we did not. I was terrified right here, like, help, here we go. I kept getting to this point and then losing, right? It can be pretty frustrating when that happens, but we were able to do it, so there we go. This is a very tough fight. Super Saiyan 3 Goku, I think, is probably the hardest fight in the game. Those two dodges, I thought I lost. I was actually like, oh my god, I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna lose because this fucker actually just dodged like that. But, I mean, the thing is, inside, man, he just goes on and on and on. Dude, such a ridiculous character. So there's the Super Saiyan 3 Goku fight. Very tricky, but the Saibaman sweep is not going to be stopped. All right, now we're moving on to the Majin Vegeta fight. This one was very, very tricky right here. And I'll say that this is the fight that definitely gave us the most issues. Because the way Majin Vegeta is structured at the end, it does actually kind of counter what makes, like, the Saibaman combo, what makes them so broken, right? So remember, in Saibaman already is, like, you know, one of the most ridiculous characters in the game, or whatever, right? Like, he's already, like, super crazy. But a lot of his power is actually generated when STR Saibaman is in the slot in front of him and gets targeted, right? When the STR Saibaman gets targeted, a huge amount of extra power is generated, like defense, offense, all of it, for the Int Saibaman. So, Majin Vegeta, once we get to the end, is only counting down, and then he's actually, whatchamacallit, doing the final explosion. He's not really doing regular attacks. So, Int Saibaman is going to be significantly weakened compared to what we typically see from him in these regular fights, right? And the other thing Majin Vegeta has is dodge canceling. So because of the fact that Majin Vegeta is dodge canceling, he's going to hold us back quite a bit in terms of being able to use dodge, which is the Saibaman's strongest defensive tool, right? So in this fight, we're going to need other characters to be able to do some real heavy lifting in here, besides just completely relying on the Int Saibaman to get it done, right? But we're going to need some help from these other characters. Definitely some tricky things here. So my plan was to have 2 Team Protector abilities to get rid of the two final explosions, and I felt like that would be enough time for us to get the W. So we have GT Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, and then we have Goma. That's my plan, to get rid of 2 final explosions. Now, GT Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta have one of the most annoying abilities you can have in the game, which is needing to get hit to get something. And specifically, they're a character that needs to be run in slot 2 or 3, right? They have to get hit in, you know, because most of the time, like, the fight starts, you put them in slot 1, they'll get blown away, right? Like, I think if they get a full volley of supers, and then on the second turn, they could go into slot 1 sometimes, depending upon what the structure of the boss is. But that is something that's very annoying. So notice, like, how deep in we're on turn 4 still in phase 1. I am not trying to blitz this boss as fast as I can. I want to get stacks for Majin Vegeta, stacks for the Super Saiyan 4s, right? Line up my rotations perfectly, because Majin Vegeta, you know, at the end, is just going to ignore some of the best abilities that we actually are able to do, right? So I want to try and make sure to get them lined up. I need to make sure that GT Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta get hit correctly, right? So, I mean, keep in mind that these fights, too, are, like, longer fights now, right? Like, it's like, you know, in Super Saiyan 4s, like, the fights are made for them. The fights are made for Angel, Super Saiyan 2, Goku, and Majin Vegeta. That's the thing. Like, now that we're a couple of like weeks away from Majin Vegeta and Angel Goku coming out. It's like, did I overrate them? Am I like looking at things like, oh, prisoner of the moment, you know, thinking that they're that good? No, because the content is structured towards them, right? Like these longer fights, not like a, you know, turn one blaster against Bio Broly or something like that. You know, this we get to like turn 11 or something before we finish this run against Majin Vegeta. And it's like, the day the Super Saiyan 4s came out, like I was saying, I think that was going to be the case, right? What seems to be like part 2 11th anniversary seemed to kind of be like the crown jewel, the 11th anniversary. So it's like, it makes sense that that's the character they're going to build things around, the Super Saiyan 4s, who were the Dokkan Fest. So I expect more fights are going to come out, you know, with multiple phases, you know, going closer to turn 10, than I do fights like Bio Broly to be coming out, because I think they're going to gear them more towards the structure of the Super Saiyan 4s, right? So that's just something to keep in mind. All right, so the Cyberman wipes that out, but I've got our rotations lined up perfectly. We're ready to go here, right? So I remember this right here. I was thinking, do I want to go with a Final Shine, or are we just going to go with Super Saiyan 4 Goku, right? Like, but I decided to go with Super Saiyan 4 Goku to try and get as much damage as I can, because remember, Majin Vegeta and Super Saiyan 3 Goku, they both have about 1 billion HP. 1 billion HP that we have to kind of like slice through, right? So we're gonna need to be able to get big damage from some of these Saiyan active skills that we could do. So here's the problem, right? Again, watch the Cyberman right here. We have the huge support from the GT LR, but STR Cyberman wasn't targeted. Look at that, 56 million attack stat, 61 million attack stat. That's much lower than the numbers we're typically seeing from the Cyberman, right? Like barely any damage compared to what he usually does. So we'll be able to, on the next go around, the next final explosion, we're gonna have Goma use his giant form, and then that is gonna get rid of the final explosion, but also cause Majin Vegeta to do a regular attack aimed at STR Cyberman, and then we will have full power Cyberman next turn, right? So here's Majin Vegeta and Angel Goku. I mean, the character's just so ridiculous. That orb changing really can be so handy. The stacking that they have, I love that Majin Vegeta and Angel Goku character. Some of their restrictions can be a little bit tight. You know, you have to really pay attention to what your team building looks like, and, you know, do you need to get orbs with Goku or Vegeta or what? But that character, they're just so valuable in some of these really nasty fights. Same thing, obviously, with Super Saiyan 4 Goku here, who also is very helpful, right? In Super Saiyan 4s. All right, so we get to this turn. We'll go into Goma's giant form. This is going to serve as a team protector mechanic, and it is going to cause Majin Vegeta to use up his final explosion. So going through this run, we did basically eat 2 final explosions, but they didn't really give us too much trouble here, as you guys can see. You know, Goma is still just as good as ever with his bag of tricks. And the anniversary Spirit Bomb EZAs, I think a lot of people do hate on them pretty hard, but there's some great situations where they can be quite effective for us, right? So I believe the first attack is a countdown, but the second attack is just going to be a normal from Majin Vegeta, and then that's going to allow the Cyberman to be at full power. All right, so we get the Dokkan attack with the STR Cyberman, nothing really too crazy right here. And then this next attack is a normal, I believe. Okay, we can double super, cool. And then, yep, there we go, boom. And then now the Cyberman, they're triggered to full power. Look at that, 88 million, right? 95 million. You see the difference between having the STR Cybermen targeted or not? It makes a gigantic difference here. Just huge damage being outputted. And that is enough for us to be able to finish Majin Vegeta off on this rotation right here with Angel Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Goku. And we still have the GTLR. So there we go. Majin Vegeta, I would say of all the runs we did, all the fights I chose to do here, the trickiest fight was definitely Majin Vegeta. That's the one that I think was kind of, again, kind of like the most difficult that we had to deal with right there. Just because Majin Vegeta, like what makes Cyberman so crazy, I mean, he's still good, but what makes him really so crazy, Majin Vegeta kind of like had a bit of a defense against that, a defense or a block or whatever, right? Then we move on to this next fight. This next fight went really quite easy. physical UI Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta. We didn't really have too many difficulties with these guys here. We were able to kind of like sit them down, I think, pretty easily. For a lot of these runs, since no matter what, we were running double Saibaimen and in Saibaimen, so we're always like the only thing that's been the same for every run in this video has been those three characters together, right? The three Saibaimen. So I have, in a lot of these runs, I've geared, if I could, more towards like a villain-oriented lineup to try and make it, you know, maybe a little bit easier for Majin Vegeta too. There's one more fight we're doing after this where Majin Vegeta right here plays a huge role in us getting the W, right? The last kind of like super nasty fight. There's other fights we could have done too. I didn't do like the hybrid fight, but like the Saibaimen would completely destroy that, right? So I feel like the trickiest fights, we got all of those done. So here we go. This is going to be a crazy turn. I thought briefly about putting Saibaiman in slot 3, which would get him the support from both STR Saibaimans, but I decided to just leave the rotations as is. There was STR Saibaman eating a super attack from UI Goku too. That's good. All right, so here's Saibaiman at, you know, full power right here. So he'll just blow UI Goku away. I mean, I guess UI Goku could dodge. There's several bosses, kind of like reasonable bosses around right now, that do actually have dodge abilities, right? Which is so silly. Look at this, UI. You hanging in there, buddy? The Saibaiman is just such an absurd character. The way it just blows these bosses in half like that is so, it's so outrageous. The amount of damage that he's able to do. Look at that, man. It's just so crazy. So it's just like practically like one volley, and then like, you know, UI Goku is on death's door. And then we get here, and it's like we essentially have the fight wrapped up. It was just a matter of like, do I want to let Goma get targeted? Do we do Goma's active skill? Do I want to try and aim for Deborah to get his active skill? You know, like how do I actually want to approach the end of this fight? So I just kind of like thought about this for a little bit, but hopefully Dokkan does another thing like this April Fool's Day again. Remember, a lot of they did mention in the news that the leader skill part is being nerfed. So most of the strategies I used here, a lot of these are actually unfortunately going to be going away kind of soon, right? Some of these major like teams, because the Saibamen leader skill nerf is going to make it to where regular characters aren't quite as effective. I mean, we saw like, you know, LR Majin Vegeta's damage is lower, the Super Saiyan 4's damage is lower, but they weren't like complete shells of themselves, right? A lot of these characters with their special abilities and stuff, like they were still like, we're using them like very effectively, but I think after the Saibaman leader skill nerf happens, it's not going to be quite so effective for us, I don't think. So, all right. Yeah, this is the last turn right here. I remember exactly how this plays out. So the Saibaiman, of course, will terrorize poor little Evolution Blue Vegeta back there. And then we're going to get a very special KO screen, if you guys catch my drift here. Yep, you know what that is. All right, so there's Saibaiman. Okay, so again, we have one more fight that we're actually going to jump into. And it is another tricky fight. But there are, again, some particular abilities of a certain character, Goma, that allows us to really, like, cheese the fight. Goma is just so stupid, man. I mean, he's able to be used in, like, long and short fight. He's just such a crazy fucking character. Like, Goma is actually just so ridiculous. Sorry, so there's UI Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta, owned by the Saibaiman. And Saibaiman and their minions, right? Majin Vegeta, Pui Pui. Alright, so we're fighting Tamagami 1. So Tamagami 1 is kind of like the forgotten fight. People don't even do this because it's so fucking tough. I think people just don't choose not to even engage this fight because of the level of toxic. Like, this is the most toxic fight in Dokkan history. It has to be. Unless you're going to say original Red Zone Broly, who had an AoE Super Plus dodge cancel back in an era where characters didn't even all have defensive mechanics. Like, you know, But like Tamagami 1 right here is at least the second most toxic fight we've ever seen. Alright, so that was the Saibaiman that took all that damage right there, right? But, you know, no STR Saibaiman on rotation. But this is still a favorable result because we have the STR Saibaiman in slot 7, and we're going to be able to, turn 3, be able to go right into Goma, right? The thing that's pretty useful here is Goma is able to swallow up all that damage. Here's what's huge about the Tamagami 1 fight, just like Jiren. Attack debuffing. We must... Oh, we triple supered right there, which is huge. In order to deal with this, we must attack debuff. It begins with attack debuffing, right? I love the blues in here and Rose, but the blues don't synergize well with Majin Vegeta and the Saibaimen and shit. Like, it's not going to work super well. Here's where Majin Vegeta is so helpful. Tamagami 1 can't kill him. So Majin Vegeta is just going to sit there and he's going to eat that shit and we're good. And then we've got so many attack debuffers. This is why the golden freezes are here, to attack debuff Tamagami 1. So without Tamagami 1 being able to just, you know, slice us with the AoE, we're chilling. We are big fucking chilling. So, yep, there we go. That's it. So all we need now remember, Tamagami, I guess the fight is not yet clinched, because once we leave Goma's giant form, this is going to cause Tamagami to waste his AoE, to waste his super attack, all that good stuff. But once we leave this, Tamagami will apply a seal. If he would have sealed the Int Saibaimen upon leaving Goma's giant form right here, I think we definitely would have lost. So we did need that to actually break our way, and it does break our way. So the Int Saibaimen is like able to mostly kill Tamagami 1 right here. Yeah, I think we do kill him on this turn. Look, like Int Saibaimen, all he needed was one turn. Like, this is actually kill the boss before they kill you. That strategy people pretended existed so much. Kill the boss before they kill you. That shit that didn't really exist too much. Here it did. Here it did. Like, Int Saibaimen able to actually just kill Tamagami 1 before Tamagami 1 can do a goddamn thing against us. So, there we go, Int Saibaimen. Yep, say goodbye to Tamagami 1. Tamagami 1 is incredibly toxic, but he does not have that much HP. I mean, you guys could see the huge chunks of his HP bar just flying off right there. Like, look at this. Dead. Actually, I think that drops him. Yeah, we didn't crit, so it dropped him down to a sliver, but then Goma finishes him. So there we go, guys. The Saibaimen sweeping the game. Definitely, I think, the most fun April Fool's Day ever. Saibaimen sweep, way too fucking fun. I absolutely loved this April Fool's Day.